Here to tell you the truth, tell you I'm nervous, tell you my story, tell you I'm worth it, tell you my flaws and my faults and my doubts, give you my heart and what's left of it now, tell you my hurt, tell you my pain, tell you the thoughts I keep trapped in my brain, tell you that nothing's the same, tell you I'm nothing much more than a main, and tell you I fear I may never find love, tell you I'm getting in touch with above, and right now can't deny that I'm scared all this music I wrote won't compare or warrant the buzz, alone in my room, dissecting each line that I rhyme, I don't know how I finish on time, miss a drop date 3 times, I know that I let you all down. Well, I was the first in that line, so sever my soul from my body, engulf it in music, then give you something to relate. This is somewhere to go when your heart becomes cold and your friends become fake. As you stand on the edge of the world, you feel like you're destined to break. And your grandma is screaming you're worthless and calling you names to your face. Mom and I had to move to a place, second time let a rhyme depict this picture. And I can't deny I would hide in my room and would cry from dealing with ya. Picture so vivid, you yell in the kitchen. I'm taking my boxes, I made a decision. I'm done with your dissing, your father then fixing. I tried to be nice, but you just wouldn't listen. I couldn't wait for the day just to give you my take on the shit that you did. Silly old bitch, never be like you, never be so rude. I hope, I wish alone and sick you sit, but this is where we end it. It's crazy to me how the truth is often most offensive. Battle tested, learn my lesson to forgive, but not forget. I spill my heart, open my chest. Irrelevant you are to me, but part to me honestly thought I should address. Life often makes this mess. I've come to give you more while everybody gives you less. Yep, and looking back on it all was a lie. At your friend's house and there's no other guy. Surprise and look who you're with. I'm not trying to diss, I'm just telling you this. That your feelings may fade, but your memories stick. Hope you're happy with him. Honestly, hope you're happy with him. And he does all the things that I wanted, I tried, but I couldn't. Could keep going on, but I know that I shouldn't waste any more time. Shouldn't waste.
What's going on, guys? What's going on, guys? Delta BB here. Glad all of you can make it to tonight's Squadcast. How's everyone doing tonight? Gotcha. So we're gonna dive right on into it. We were gonna hit this last week on a podcast, but things didn't work out. I had to work, and Tall Leprechaun had to work. Uh, we just couldn't make a Friday night podcast last weekend, so we apologize for that, guys. But the first topic of the night, we're going to talk about the Titan, the submersible that disappeared and it came out that it imploded. So I want to go last. I don't even want to go first. Uh, who wants to kick it off? Uh, uh, okay. I guess I'll start the debate or whatever. Okay, the Titanic has been a sunken ship for 112 years. That is a fucking gravesite. Leave them dead people alone. Stop going down there. So the fact that so now when me and you first talked about this, Polly, I, I was keeping up with it. They hadn't talked about like what happened. It wasn't released that it imploded and stuff. Like me and you had kept up with it that the entire week last week. Uh, so for them to come out and say it imploded, they had come out and said that they had heard an explosion on Sunday, the day that it went out for its adventure. Around the same time that it went missing, the Coast Guard heard an explosion in the water. So it imploded 2 hours into its journey. It was like 2 or 2.5 hours into its journey. I think it was 12,000 feet or something like that from the bow of the Titanic is where pieces were found. Okay, so my thing that I'm gonna ask y'all is, would you go into a submarine, or oh, my bad, not a submarine, a submersible, uh, that you're completely locked into? 18, I think it said it was a minimum of 18 bolts to lock you in, so you have no escape, and then you're gonna trust a PlayStation 4 controller to be your navigation device. All right, kick us off. Kick us off. Whatever you kick us off. No, that's incorrect. You need to look at your facts before a podcast start. It was rated to go 13,000 feet. Uh, Titanic sits at 12,005. So it was rated to go to the distance that it needed to go. No, again, no, again. You probably should have read the story of the podcast before we started this topic. Uh, do some research on it real quick so that you could pitch in. So the CEO actually was on the Titan uh during this journey, and he died, of course, with I think it was four other people. I think it was five. I think I'm pretty sure it was five total. Uh uh so he fired. So I think what she's thinking is that he fired someone for speaking up and saying that it was unsafe and that it hadn't met its safety specifications. It didn't go through the trials and errors that it was supposed to have done to meet qualifications to be safe for this. But the CEO's mindset was he wanted to stick out and say that he could bend the rules and get away with it and things still work out. And it worked out for him. I think they said that it went down quite a few times. So I mean, it worked out for him a few times. No, so this was supposed to happen last year, and you could only go so many times because you have a window every year to be able to go when the weather permits, because the Atlantic Ocean is it's a not forgiving ocean. There's storms in it all the time. So they had a break in storms and was able to actually go out to it. You know, in the wintertime it's covered with ice and shit. You know, don't want to hit an iceberg and be down there with the Titanic. So, anyways, back to what we were talking about. Being being fucking bolted into this damn thing though. Again, with a PlayStation controller as your navigation. Getting text messages from the ship above to tell you where to go. What's the percentage of the ocean that has not yet been discovered? I want to say it's somewhere around 80%. No, I think it's 80 to 85% of it has not been explored. Like a huge number, huge number. They don't even know how deep the like different all the different oceans are. It 1,500 people died in the Titanic. Gonna fucking wake up the megalodon or something, like some prehistoric. Uh, yeah. Someone tried to say it was the orcas. They were like the orcas thought that they were getting some DoorDash. That Ocean Gate was the new delivery service. Not a joking matter. I feel bad for the people that died, but they knew what they were getting into when it happened. I mean, death was in the contract like three times on the first page alone. But for me, not having an escape hatch is like one of the biggest things. Like I understand you're 12,500 feet down below, so you have to decompress or you'll get Sid. Not Sid's. Yeah. You got to because you have to go into a decompression sensor or chamber, a decompression chamber. Uh, the bins. That's what it's called. It's called the bins. Yeah. Yeah. Uh, so I say it was definitely a better death that way. Going that quick than the alternative that they were like it was a race against the time how they were describing it last week to where it's like they had you had the news and stuff describing it as they had 96 hours on Sunday and then they literally counted down every day the time that they had left potentially. So it was either you die of suffocation, which is a horrible way to go out, but the implosion it was quick, like you said. That's bad. Skydiving has a lower risk than going down. Like you don't have to go into a decompression chamber after you come back up from skydive. After you get down to the ground from skydiving. Uh, but to go below the sea level and stuff like that, like yeah, you've got to go through the you got to come up so fast and you have to go down so quickly because even going down there you have to go at a certain speed because if you go too fast you're going to build pressure too fast, which could cause an implosion. Which I figured that's what happened. Was I didn't hear the part that there was a leak or something that what Polly was just saying. Uh, I just thought that they probably descended too fast, and that's what caused the implosion. I mean, it doesn't take much. It something like that. It doesn't take much. Like they literally say that by like 2030 the Titanic could be gone. That it has been there so long that it's just going to have done disintegrated and be nothing left because it's got things on it. It's got certain algae and stuff on it that are eating the iron and stuff away from the ship. So I mean, they've already talked about like the different floors and stuff collapsing. Here recently, the captain's chambers collapsed. Uh, so I mean the boat. Leave the boat alone. Just leave it alone. If you want to see the Titanic, watch the movie and you can see how it broke in half and it sunk to the bottom of the ocean, and it's there. Like it hasn't moved. It hasn't floated back up. This isn't Pirates of the Caribbean where you know the dude with the fucking tentacles. You know Davy Jones fucking his ship. It's not Davy Jones' locker here. So Jess, what is your opinion on if can you mute your mic again? What is your opinion on being bolted inside of it? Like, is what is that? Yep, yep. You have to sit Indian. You have to sit Indian style the entire 8 hours that you're down there. There was a toilet on board as well. Yeah, like everybody and their brother's gonna watch you take a big fat shit because I had Taco Bell before I come down here. No, what you talking about number? What you talking about number two? I got to go number three. I'm doing both at the same goddamn time. Just take a flashlight with you. You'll be able to see. Uh, or just find a Nemo it and find that fish that had the light on the front of his face. Exactly. Yes. It's like it, it's like walking. It's like walking in a front door of a really long, narrow hallway, and when it's sunny and 75 outside, and the lights are shining through that front door, but you get past a certain point and you just start to go into darkness. Or better yet, a basement is a good example. You go from upstairs where there's a light turned on to your basement. You can see the light at the top of the stairs, but you get to the bottom of the basement and it's just pitch black. I don't want to know what's down there. I'm sure there's some big shit down there that I don't need to know about because they've made movies, they have hypotheses, and uh, well they no they fucking they're Godzilla, Godzilla of all. He was at the bottom of Godzilla was at the bottom of the ocean. Watch the one. Watch the one with Bryan Cranston in it, and he'll come up from the fucking bottom of the ocean. Look, that's probably where the mermaids are, guys. They're probably like in the darkness. That sounds like my kind of movie. I'm just gonna. I'm just gonna say, like, I'm a horror movie fanatic. I'm good with watching mermaids kill random fucking people. Coming to a TV near you, October 31st, 2023. No, no, I'm not getting any live mermaids. That's not happening. They're going to be fake. They're going to be fake. Just viewer discretion is advised. You're talking about there. You're talking about they were saying that it was a distraction. It wasn't. It was a distraction. No, it absolutely went down there, and there was people in it. But it absolutely was more of a distraction. I think they knew. I think they knew Sunday when it imploded that it was gone and that those people were dead. I think it was a distraction for the entire week. Uh, that's my theory because in the midst of it, what you were just talking about with the meat, and then there was and for some reason, a lot of people haven't heard, but they tried to impeach Biden all in that same week. But you're not going to hear a whole lot of it. Yeah, it's like putting something shiny in front of a woman, and she's like, "Ooh, shiny. That's pretty. Let me go that direction." It's sparkling at me. It's a pretty diamond. When people started to show interest and get invested, I think that's when they were like, you know what, we can drag this out a little bit longer. Because I think they had it confirmed Monday, like the very next day. They 100% had it confirmed, but they were like, let's wait till Thursday or Friday to release the information and say, okay, yeah, this is what it was. We confirmed it, but we're not going to tell you that we've known since Monday. We'll tell you that we had audio and we think that could have possibly been it, and that's a theory. But that's just a theory. Everyone had enough of the submersible topic. Well, this is the only time we're going to talk about it in our podcast. We wanted to talk about it last week when it was fresh on everyone's minds. Uh, but the next one is going to be a very interesting one. We're already about 30 minutes into the podcast. Uh, let's talk about the potential. Okay, so I haven't found it anywhere. I had heard it and have not been able to find any information. So we're just going to talk about what we think would happen if the world itself lost internet capabilities and you had no access to the internet at all. Let's say it was completely worldwide internet outage. What do each of you think the chaos would be? I want you to keep in mind. I want you to keep in mind. Uh, if the internet lost connection right now and we went offline, everybody in the entire world, you get paid. You get paid from your job by the internet. You go to the grocery store and you swipe that debit card, and your bank is balanced by the internet. So you're not going to have time to go and pull out money from the bank because it's all digital. They don't know how much money you had in your bank account before it went down. So how are you going to survive? How are you going to get paid from work? How are you going to put gas in your vehicle? Can't swipe your debit card anymore at the pump. The pumps are electronic, so you couldn't even get gas. So what are we gonna do? We're gonna go back to checks and balances, like the old school checks and balances. You you remember 2020 and 2021, right? We had a national chain shortage, right? It would be that all over again, except it would just be currency as a whole. I say it.
I don't even know how you fix that problem. You almost need it to fix it. You know, you almost need to have internet access to fix no internet. Like I don't even know there's I don't know that there's coming back from that like at all.
I mean, it definitely be a big loss, sure. But I mean, I imagine after like I said, a long time, they would have some type of way to
Ultimately,
come back.
ultimately, I like now they're so reliant on it for for pretty much everything. I mean, you see, most WalMarts now don't have fucking people that you can go check out.
So I just want
Like
to bring up that I had technical difficulties. So if you've been watching the live stream and audio cut out in some parts, go watch El Polly's podcast to get everything that's been said. It was, I think when I was hitting my mute button, it was muting everything altogether. But I have that fixed now. But if you missed anything and you want to continue to watch, uh, watch El Polly's if you want to watch it from the beginning. Sorry, Polly. Continue.
what was I saying?
We were just saying like how it would be hard to come back from that.
Well, well, you literally would have to have internet to fix internet nowadays. Like they're like, oh hey, can you come? My internet's not working. Okay. Okay, let me connect to another thing of internet. And then ding, okay, you're back on. Well, they just had to have internet to fix that problem. So like if it ever was like completely wiped out and there was never like an internet connection again, I think you're fucked. I think there's no coming back from that.
I feel like we're not gonna die by the how the Bible says, like or you know what the Bible says is gonna be by fire. Yes, it's going to be because all the fucking devices no longer work, and we're gonna just set fire to our devices, and that's gonna be our demise.
Yep.
Electronics are gonna be our demise. And
Yep.
I've always said nuclear warfare on that one.
nuclear warfare. I mean that's a possibility, you know. We've pissed off North Korea. We've pissed off Russia. You know, you start pissing off superpowers, and you got a problem.
I mean, if
Yep.
you think about it, say somebody hacking into the internet, and that for the reason that's why it gets shut down. Who's to say they don't actually get control of like all these missiles and stuff like that, and actually
Yep.
launch something like that, and that could be the start of the Wi-Fi outage and all that. I mean, that's the reason why I
Well,
always say that.
that was a scary. We used to be scared of that back in the Iraqi War and stuff like that. Is we didn't know what Hussein, damn it, uh, Hussein, Hussein was gonna do. Uh, they had nuclear weapons you know that could just wipe the entire U.S. type shit, and making the trade deals and stuff, and making it to where that they can't even have that kind of stuff. That needs to be a thing, and then North Korea with their shit when we were going through it with them. That's a crazy motherfucker. Like
Uh-huh.
he's a loose fucking cannon.
Oh yeah, you
He
don't know.
he would fucking kill himself and everyone else if it was to get his way, type of shit.
Uh-huh.
Just to prove a point. Just to prove a point, you will wipe out the entire fucking world.
I do not care if you
That-
get killed in the process.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Just to prove a point. Like at that point, your point was proven to no one because you killed everyone,
Yeah.
and that the only ones that would survive are the cockroaches, because those motherfuckers, you hear about that all the time, that like cockroaches are going to be here for fucking ever. That's going to be what survives. Is the cockroaches. That's going to be it. That's it.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Cockroach City.
You
You're
know,
not wrong.
one of my favorite movies, Men in Black. Like that they showed you that like they're gonna take over the world.
I mean, I believe if anything would survive, it would be the cockroach. I 100% agree with you.
Well,
Yeah.
you know, the I think the purge would go ahead and start at that point with not having
Yeah.
internet. It's
When
going to be
you talk
complete
about
anarchy.
chaos, yeah. When you talk about chaos, that is exactly what's going to happen. Because, like you said, the banks and stuff, you're not going to have access to your money. You're going to run into theft. Everybody's just going to start stealing, whether it be
Oh yeah.
supplies for your household or just
You're gonna be fucked.
electronics, cars. Just to live a short-term life. People are going to run into theft. Like that's going to happen.
Yep. Definitely. You're definitely gonna have. It's definitely gonna be fucked.
Oh, yeah.
So. That's it.
So I think we have time for one more topic. If anyone has any topic that they want to talk about, because I'm going to end this podcast with something that we talk about at the end of every podcast. So someone come up with another topic, and then I'll end the podcast with the very, very last topic that we always cover at the end of our podcast.
I don't have much really.
Jess, anything?
We want to talk about how it was 122 fucking heat index today in Mississippi.
I mean,
we about died, y'all. It felt like
Damn.
a Dutch oven outside.
Yeah, it was
Dead
pretty hot.
serious.
It was pretty hot here too.
Like you walked outside and it was like, man, who turned on the oven?
and the bad part, like when the sun went down, it was still hot.
Well,
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's still hot outside.
Yep.
crazy.
Like it's insane. Where did this heat come from? Just out of nowhere. It's like a slap your mama in the face type of heat.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Pretty hot.
Like
Definitely.
I'm the type of person I like being outside. I prefer to be outside. Go do stuff, spend time with family. Not in this heat. Like at this point, it's too hot to go swimming.
Yeah.
All right, so let's do. If you were to recommend a TV show to any of our viewers, what would you recommend for a viewer to watch and why?
Yellow Jacket.
I knew that one was coming.
You're welcome.
Thank you. That it started out kind of iffy, but it was really good. It picked up quick.
And that's what I tell
Wait,
everybody. Like the first season is
waiting on
really slow.
season 3. Waiting on season 3.
And currently chomping at the bit for it.
Season 1 was definitely slow. Like season 1 as a whole was slow. Season
Yeah.
2, it picked right up from the first episode and had you like on the edge of your seat,
Yep.
ready to watch the next episode.
Like we watched season 2 within what, a week, if that.
No, we watched both seasons in a week and a half.
Yeah, that tells you how good the show was.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Like I'm chomping at the bit, waiting for season 3 to come out.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with that. Like ever since I watched the end of the season 2, I was
I
like,
just
waiting.
want to talk. I just want to talk about how Rose has gotten really fat since she played in Two and a Half Men. Because like she definitely is not the same woman that she was in Two and a Half Men.
If she's had kids, I
I
understand.
mean, but if you think about it, how long ago was that though?
15 years.
Between age and having kids,
I want to say it's been
Yeah.
about. I want to say it's been about 15 years.
Ridiculous.
So I guess I'll go with my show. So my show was Shameless.
Hmm.
It was one of the shows that when someone told me about it, they're like, "Not gonna want to watch it," but
Hey, I'm gonna
turn it on
stop
and
you
watch
there
it.
real quick. I'm gonna stop you there real quick. When he says shameless, he does not mean the UK version. He is talking about the US version.
Okay, that's a good thing too. Is that the UK, believe, started it off, and the US picked it up and redid it. Uh, both shows are very similar. They have like the same storyline. There are differences because of the different
The
locations.
US showed a lot more though than the UK version. The UK version was like more of a teen drama than the US version. The US version gave the more of the adult content.
Well, either way though,
I don't know if you ever watched the UK version of it, but
I skimmed through some of them. I didn't watch
it,
all of it. No.
like it wasn't full blown how it was in the US version. It literally was like a teen drama.
But I will have to give credit where it's due, though. I mean, without the UK version, we wouldn't have had that, you know. So,
Absolutely.
but so like going back to it though, it is definitely not a show for kids. When they told us about it, I remember they were like, "It's a bad show. You're definitely not going to watch it with your family, but you're going to love it." And from first, I want to say maybe 2 or 3 episodes, I was hooked. And I believe they came out with what, like
Eight
10,
seasons, 10 seasons.
about 8 or 10 seasons.
I know. Me and you watched the first 3 or 4 seasons.
We bought the was
The
it first
the
2 or 3
box set.
seasons?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But me and you had watched them together. Most of them together. We had watched most of the seasons together. Can't remember if we
Okay.
watched the finale together. I mean, at this,
No, I don't think so.
I know we talked about it
Yeah.
after it all ended. Were you on the ship at that point when it was ending, or was it before pre-ship?
I I think I was home when it ended. I remember that. But there were times where I was on the ship and it was on. Uh, but yeah, I don't think we watched the ending together though. I do know that I was home, but
Because I remember talking with you about it. I just couldn't remember if we actually watched it together. Because like I had mixed feelings with the ending, and I know you had a different viewpoint for the ending of it than what I did. And at this point, you know, here we are sitting in 2023, and I think it ended in 2017 or 2018. It ended.
oh no, because I didn't start the ship till 2019.
Oh, so it ended around. Okay, so it ended in 2019, 2020. It definitely was. No, okay, it was 2020 because I remember them talking about COVID.
Yeah.
In the cast meet or whatever at the end. Uh, I don't know. I had mixed feelings of the ending though. The like yeah, Frank died and went where he went.
Spoiler alert, everybody.
Yeah, spoiler alert. Like I said, at this point, if you're gonna watch, if you watched it and you're a viewer and you've already watched it, like it's still a good show. I'm not gonna give all of it away, but just the way it ended was like I felt like they could have continued, but they were at a point to where they were losing characters, and it was main characters that they were losing that it didn't make sense to keep going. I would have liked to continue. I would have liked to see Carl's path and Lip's path. I didn't. I wouldn't care to see Debbie's path. Like I didn't care for her. I never cared for her from the get go. But
I liked her as a little girl. She was a lot more devious, I guess. But when she grew up, it was, it was different. It wasn't the same person.
well, she was trying to be Fiona. So and like she, I guess when I stopped liking her was when Fiona left.
All right, so I went ahead and pulled it up. The very first episode for the U.S. version, it was the very first episode was January 2011. The very last episode was April of 2021.
So me and you started watching it in 2013. It was after we had graduated high school because
they had a couple seasons out.
Because my mom had told me and you about it. Me and you had walked in the living room and we had sat down and was watching a little bit with her, and she was like, "Yeah, it's been on for this long." And I remember us asking her different questions about it, and she was like, "Yeah, it's a really good show. It's been on, I'm on season 3 or season 2." Because I think they took a break. It might have been on season 2 that she was on. She's like, "Yeah, it takes them like a year to make them or whatever." Because I know me and you had caught up like quickly.
Yeah. Definitely binge watch
in 2013.
Because I think that was the whole reason why we got the DVD set and stuff, was just so we can go through them.
Adam, give me my DVD set back from season 1 of Shameless. You still have my season 1 box set of Shameless.
Damn.
Honestly, you're probably never gonna get that back.
I honestly forgot about it until we started talking about the box sets and going and buying all of the seasons.
So I'll say this: so Shameless is definitely a good show to start watching. If you haven't, definitely watch it. But I'm gonna go ahead and pass it off to Polly.
I don't know, to be real with you. I haven't really been watching a whole lot of TV, but I know that me and my wife started watching. Where I say we started probably 3 or 4 months ago, and we're rewatching like all the Law and Order SVUs, all the way from the beginning.
Those never get old.
No, they never get old.
Okay. Hold on. They do get old. They do get old. When Stabler leaves is when they get old. I hated when Christopher Maloney left. Yeah. That was my favorite character in the SVU series.
Yeah.
I started those season 1 probably about a month ago, and I'm currently on season 10 or 11.
Remember, babe, our wedding. It was when me and you got married on our honeymoon. Me and you had sat there and binge watched at our honeymoon area that we were at. We were cut off from the world. But it was raining one day during our honeymoon, and me and you just sat inside and we watched Law and Order all day long. And they had started from the first season, and we just watched. I think we had watched like 2 seasons in one day because it was a 24-hour.
That was a
binge watch.
Yeah, I remember that.
And I think they were actually doing it commercial free that day on USA Network. Like I don't even know if that's still is USA Network still even a thing.
I think it is, yeah.
Yeah, pretty sure.
Because you can watch because I also have YouTube TV. So YouTube TV, I have like I can technically it has like its own channels.
So what season are y'all on now, Polly?
We're on, I believe we are on the end of season 19.
Oh, so y'all are like up
We're pretty
almost.
close to
Y'all
get.
are almost
We're
current,
Yeah, we're pretty close. There's 23, I think, seasons currently. They're on the
and
23rd season.
they're still being made.
Oh
So
yeah.
so mine would be one of the ones I just watched recently. Uh, I don't know if Hunter has watched it yet. Uh, and it's going to be hard for. So before I say it, should I pick a show that is something easy accessible for someone to find, uh, or should I give one that they have to work for to find it? Because I would pick Banshee, but you can't
Yeah.
find Banshee anywhere. Uh, I mean, there's legal means to find it. I'm sure there's box sets and stuff like that. And I'm sure there's some type of. I'm sure you could probably find a hosting site and can watch it, like stream it from there. But you're not going to find it on like Peacock or because it was a Showtime show. But Showtime, I have Showtime on Paramount Plus, but you're not going to find it on Paramount Plus. So should I go with a different show?
So, well, no.
Well, your original question was, what show would you recommend, and why did you like watch it? So I mean, I don't know.
I don't know. I don't want to lead the. I don't want to lead a viewer into trying to find something that they can't find.
Well, I would say just maybe give the title of that show if they can find it, look for it, then maybe go with the other one.
So Banshee was a good one. Uh,
They
I
could have continued that show 100%.
no, they ended it perfectly. So I don't know if Hunter watched it outside of the first season. I know you've
I
been
haven't.
busy. I know you've been busy. Uh, so they had 4 seasons. It was a really good show. So if you can't find that one, I'll go with Sneaky Pete as my other one because you can find it on Amazon Prime. Sneaky Pete was really good too. It actually has a similar story as Banshee does. Uh, uh, Polly, I don't know if you have Amazon Prime, but dude gets out of prison. He steals someone's identity and becomes that person. But he's a con artist, so uh, he's looking to make money. So he stole the person's identity because he thought there was a way for him to make money with that person's identity. And it was the same way on Banshee. The guy didn't even mean to steal the guy's identity on Banshee. It just happened. He literally ran into a problem and he found a solution, and the show just continued from there. Uh, both super great shows. If you can find either of them, good watches on both of them. Banshee had me from episode 1, but so did Sneaky Pete. So the way we're going to end the podcast, like always, is we're going to talk about what is your current favorite video game. Uh, your answer may not change, but if we get some more reasons of why that's your favorite video game, why you would recommend it to someone, or if you don't want to talk about your favorite video game, your current favorite video game, let's talk about a vintage game. Go back to your childhood. Me and Hunter actually talked about this earlier, so we could bring it back up, Hunter, in the podcast, and if you want to hit on that one.
So I will say the current game that I'm keep playing or keep going back to is Fall Guys. If you watch our podcast, you'll see that I always bring it up. Is one of Polly's favorite games as well, as you can see. But it's one of those competitive games that you just play, and it's random people that you play with. I mean, you just get put into a lobby and try to make through an obstacle course. Uh, the maps they do change. They do it as a season base, so every season they change up the map. So there is changes into it. It's not the same map every time. But if you are playing within that season, it will stay. You have maybe like 20 different maps or so that they'll just randomly choose from until the next season and change up all those 20. But they do add different features. I know the recent ones were like you can do a group versus another group, which they at one point did like a duo or a singles, but now it's like a whole group. So like say if we wanted to as a squad, we could, you choose to go against some other group of people or whatnot. I mean, to me, like it was one of those games that started off as just a normal competitive game, and once I learned the basics, started learning some of the maps. I don't know, I just fell into it. Like it was simple enough to get the hang of it, but it was competitive enough that kept me playing. Now that is one of the current games that I am playing. But if we go back old school, to me, my favorite game was Conker's Bad Fur Day. Don't know that title. It was back on Nintendo 64. It was one of the first games that actually was mature, and it was based like I can't really say based, but it was made into a kid's version. If you were to look at it and watch maybe a clip without audio, a parent would be like, "Oh, this is a kid's game," because you're playing as a little squirrel wearing clothes, running around like a toon world. But if you actually paid attention to it, it is a mature game. Like there is cussing, swearing, there is definitely violence, gore.
Go ahead and light
It
him up, Hunter.
so it is one of those
Go ahead and
games
light him
where
up, Hunter. Go ahead and light him
man,
up, Hunter.
hold on. Oh, excuse me, I'm gonna move my camera so y'all can see. That would be Conquer.
You got the lights plugged up?
I don't at the moment, but you know,
Oh.
yeah, that's on me. But it's definitely one of those games that brings back memory. And like I said, if anybody knows, they had fun with that. There's also the Xbox versions they released later on. They tried to redo it, but with the age ratings and stuff, they had to take out so much. It wasn't the same. Graphics base, they look great, but like I said, they censored a lot of stuff. But at the time for Nintendo 64, there was nothing like it. I mean,
Yep.
it started a lot for mature games coming out. So to me, like that was one of my epic games. Definitely played it over maybe 15 times, like start to finish. And I'll go through maybe like a year without playing it, randomly start playing it. So that to me would be my retro game that I'd always, continue to. Those would be my two games that I always.
So if I was to choose my current favorite game, uh, I would have to choose as my current. It would have to be American Truck Simulator. Uh, the only reason it would be American Truck Simulator would be how we're right here right now doing the podcast. Is that's our time to just clear our minds. We get on the open road and we're all sitting there in a VC in Discord, just like we are right now, just shooting the shit and having like real conversations. And it can be about anything that comes to our minds. Uh, right now, at this point in my life, with video games and stuff, is I all of you are leaders in my community, uh, and I wouldn't have it any other way of leading a community, being the face of the community without y'all. You guys are awesome, but we can get into American Truck Simulator and we could just talk about whatever the hell comes to our minds, and that's what led to this being a thing. Just so that I don't think we've ever talked about that. Of how the Squadcast became a thing. It was literally me and Ace, and I think Polly may have been there. I know Goose was there. We were sitting there driving semi trucks, and we were like, "Dude, we should record us driving the semi trucks and having a conversation." And it was like, "No, we should just record ourselves and have a conversation. Like, we don't have to have the video game in the background while we're having a conversation." So at this point, I'm into my video games for the friendships and the relationships that I build with people. You know, Polly is you've become like one of my best friends, and we've never even met in person. You know, like I know I can depend on you at any point in time. If I ask you to do something, or if I ever needed something, I know you're there. Uh, and I same thing. You know, me and Hunter have been friends for fucking 15 years. Uh, Now Hunter is at my house, and we're real life friends. But I consider my friendship with Hunter the same as Polly, though. You know, Ace is the same way. He's one of my best friends. You know that me and Ace lead the community together, and we're a dynamic duo. But without y'all, we wouldn't be where we're at. Y'all have helped us grow our community to what it's at. But that would be my current favorite game is American Truck Simulator. If I was to go back retro, uh, probably Driver 3. That was one of my favorites. That was to me like you thought the graphics were just amazing in Driver 3, and it wasn't quite Grand Theft Auto style, but it was still a sandbox game. But they had so much more to offer, like from Grand Theft Auto 3 and San Andreas and Vice City at the time. Like those three were your major titles. You know, you had Grand Theft Auto 3, Vice City, and San Andreas. Driver 3 was a step above all of that. And the missions, the storyline was actually really cool. Uh, it was a mix between Grand Theft Auto, uh, True Crime Streets of L.A., which was another one of my favorites. And so it was a mix between True Crime Streets of LA, Grand Theft Auto, and 007. Uh, that was the three things that it was mixed with. Because your character, depending on what map you went, what map you played, depending on what that character did. Uh, so your character at some point was a spy, your character at some point was a thief, and your character at some point was a cop. So I mean, Driver 3 was definitely probably my favorite retro game. And I'll pass it over to Polly because Jess, I don't know if Jess is going to have a retro game, honestly.
Yeah. So
And I'm just curious of what Polly's retro is going to be. Me and Hunter were talking about this earlier, Polly.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
All right. So me, hold on. Me and Hunter were talking about this earlier. Hunter already knows what I'm about to ask. All right.
Yep.
Me and Hunter are 28 years old. What is the age gap? Because I can't remember. What is the age gap? Me and Hunter are 28. How old are you?
From y'all or to me?
How old are you?
Yeah.
I'm 23.
All right, I was close. I said between 22 and 25.
Yep.
Yeah.
Dang, even I'm.
All right, so that still makes me curious. Wait.
Okay, so
he's not a 90. So he's not a 90s baby.
I'm a 2000.
He's a
February
2000 model.
2000.
Okay,
Yep.
so he's a Y2K baby.
Yep. So yeah, favorite game currently, outside of 5M,
He could possibly have a good retro game.
Prop and
I wanna
Seek.
hear
We've been
both.
playing quite a bit of Prop
Yeah.
and Seek.
I'm glad you started
Hey! I'll take credit. I'll take credit for
Yeah,
that.
he can
You're
take credit
welcome.
for that, but
You're welcome.
I am hooked. But it is
Hey, that was
it
another
is
game. That was another game though, Polly. That was like it was better played in a VC with somebody.
Yes.
yeah.
And us, like, because I was telling Hunter about it the other day. I was like, dude, it was so much fun playing with Polly in a VC because me and you would sit there and be talking shit about each other. And then you knew, you even, because Hunter used to listen for the spinning wheel because it would make a noise. Whenever I was playing on my laptop that Jess has, he would listen for the spinning and he'd be like, okay, or I know that you're a prop, or I know you're a hunter by this.
Well,
But doing it in
clarify,
VC, you could tell when one of us was something and we were being serious because it would just fucking be quiet while the other one's continuously talking shit. And me and you had said that night that me and you had played Prophet Seek, Polly. We were like, we should be recording this shit because it's actually interesting, even though it's boring as fuck because you're sitting there for an hour going through 20 rounds of hiding.
Of hide and seek, basically.
But the talking shit part would have been the most interesting part.
Yeah, I think that'd be hilarious.
He wanted to rage quit on me about 15 times because every time I'd fucking become every time I'd fucking become a hunter, I swear he probably thought that I was fucking looking at his screen because I'd fucking kill him first just about every fucking time.
Yeah,
well, I mean, that was like with us. Like we would literally play in the same room, and we grew up with trust. You don't look at the other person's screen, which I can honestly say we don't do that. If we're in a corner, we are not looking. Which normally our setups is usually right close to each other. Like if I can look literally over here and I can see a screen, but I'm not going to. For playing Prophecy, so like we would actually have our conversations like this, and we wouldn't even be on camera. We'll shout out, be like punter or prop, just so we know ahead of time, not to talk about our location. But basically, we had our own little system. But I mean, to me, Prop Sync was definitely one of the fun. So simple, actually good. I don't know how many times we just go back and play on it. Um,
I thought it was fun.
we'll sit there, we'll run across, I don't know what, tons of other games like Midnight Ghost Hunt or whatnot, and then we're always like, hey, why don't we run back into Prophet Seek real quick? It's just one of those games that is simple.
Prophet Seek's become one of those games that, like, if I'm waiting on a game to update or something, it'd be like, I'm gonna go in and play a few rounds of Prophet Seek.
Yeah.
Like I'll do it by myself, but I think that should be a squad game too. Like all of us hop into VC and we all hop in the same lobby.
I'd be down for that.
Just hop into VC and just talk shit on each other. I mean, that's a good video, like on its own,
Yeah.
All right, so I'm curious to hear what is your favorite retro game because you could potentially have a decent retro game because you had GameCube.
Yeah.
You had the PS2.
Yep.
I mean, he still had a lot of opportunities to play old school games, even though he didn't grow up in that era. We've learned that from past videos before.
You still fucking had Blockbuster as a 2000s baby.
Yeah.
So I mean, you still have movie gallery. So
Yep.
I'll give you credit where credit's due. After 2002, y'all went to shit. I don't know what the fuck's wrong with you kids after 2002. I wouldn't even give 2002. I'd say 2001. You kids went to shit after 2001.
I don't know. I'd say 2002. All right, Polly. Let's hear it.
So I was thinking about this a little bit while y'all were talking about y'all's. I think currently, something that I've gone back to for a while is Splinter Cell.
Okay, yeah.
Splinter Cell is. I've played that quite a bit on PS2.
First one or second one? First one or second one?
I think
the second one was better than the first one. Which one'd you go with?
Probably 2, yeah.
Oh, you're just saying that because I said it.
I don't know. I honestly, it's been a while since I
That was
played them.
that was a hard ass fucking game, dude. Both of them were
Yes.
hard as shit because it was
Yep.
single player only, anyways.
Yeah.
That was a hard ass game.
Yep. It was. Yeah. But
That
yeah.
was like, I think that was the start of escape room type shit.
Yeah.
Because you had to be able to get out, and it was one of those that it would just restart you from the entire beginning type thing too. Like if you died I think it was like if you died 3 times on the second one, it restarted you from the beginning of the game, and you had to completely restart.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was.
you're right. Yeah.
Yep. It was pretty crazy though.
Yeah, definitely not bad. That brings back memories for sure.
I'm sitting there yelling, "Tony Hawk, Tony Hawk!" Like he's
No.
gonna fucking call out
I
Tony Hawk
didn't play.
Underground
I
or
didn't
something like
play
that.
a whole lot. I didn't play Tony Hawk. I don't think I may have
You're,
played one or two.
you know, I'm shocked that's not one of. I'm shocked Hunter does not name his favorite retro game as one of the Snow White game, or not Snow White. What was that? What was that snowboarding game that you used to like? Sean White.
If you're
You
gonna
used
go
to
with,
love those.
if you're gonna go back, I would say it was a SXX. You remember that one? That one was
Yes.
like the PlayStation days. Yeah.
I,
I
I,
would choose
I'm,
that
I,
over Sean White.
you know, I'm shocked as many times as, yeah, but Sean White was still one of your favorites. I'm shocked that none of the snowboarding games have ever been brought up from your side, which we've never talked about the Tony Hawks either. Uh,
Yeah, I definitely played through the
so
underground. So that was,
what was the GameCube version of Tony Hawk? But it was with your Disney characters, so you could play on like Tarzan's map.
oh,
You could play on Tarzan's map. You could play in the Toy Story room.
wasn't it Disney Skate or something like that?
Is that what it was called? Was Disney Skate?
I could be wrong, but I want to say it was Disney something like that. Disney
It
skateboarding or
it
something like that.
only came out on the GameCube. That was the only platform it came out on.
Worth looking up.
No.
That was a good one. No, that was a super good one. Jess, we're not ignoring you. Did you ever have a GameCube, Jess?
Doubtful.
Never had a GameCube.
You gotta remember, I didn't have all that. My sister had a PlayStation 2, but I was not allowed to play it. It stayed in her room. I was not allowed to touch it. I didn't have any of that stuff.
well, I never personally owned a GameCube. Tyler
I
owned a GameCube.
I did.
See,
Well,
I was never allowed to play with
Hunter still has a fucking GameCube, so I don't want to hear any. I don't
I
even want to
have
hear it.
all of the consoles just about. So yeah.
Yeah, I never
The
really
only
did any of that stuff.
The only consoles Hunter don't have are the newest ones.
Yeah.
But at this point, they're not worth buying.
Exactly. I got a
No.
computer.
Yeah, I never really did any of that stuff. I was more into the horses and stuff like that. Being outside, being real active outside, that was more of my thing. I
Hunter
didn't
all
start getting into games, stuff like that, until here in the last year or so.
Hunter off podcast. When we end it here in a few minutes, uh, let's talk about that game that I'm having you look up. Uh, what was the name of it? Did you come up with the name?
Yeah, it's Disney's Extreme Skate Adventure.
All right, let's talk about that after the podcast. You already know what I'm getting at. I'm thinking Nintendo Switch.
Mm-hmm.
All right, babe. What is your current favorite game?
My current favorite game, I mean, really the only one that I play is our 5M server. That's really the only thing I play. I mean, I've played a little bit of Prop and Seek and um There was another one.
Fall Guys.
No,
Human Fall Flat.
no. It's one of the ghost, not Ghost Exile. It's where you're the ghost hunter and you're.
Midnight
Midnight
Ghost
Ghost
Hunt.
Hunter.
Yeah, Midnight Ghost Hunt. I played that quite a bit, but I kept getting killed by the ghost. And then once I was the ghost, I kept getting killed, so I got mad and stopped playing it.
So I'm glad Jess brought up 5M being her favorite. So since we have 4 founders in this room right now, we still got a few more minutes that we can go. Since we have 4 founders of the community in here, what has it been like for all of you? What has been your experience in founding the in founding United Roleplay?
I mean, in my opinion, I think
Like, what has been your favorite part of founding it? You know, it could be you made a friendship with someone and you created a brotherhood. Like that's probably my favorite part of it is that I've created a brotherhood with all of the founders. You know, a brotherhood and I guess sisterhood. You know, my wife is a founder of the community as well, but my favorite part though is definitely that I created a brotherhood with all of y'all, and I know that we're going to do great things in the long run with all of the mindset that we have all together. Like I know we're going to do great things, and we're going to grow the community exponentially. It's going to grow quickly.
and I agree. I mean, I think we have a great team with us. We all work very well together. We're all really good friends, and
I asked what your favorite part was. I didn't
I
ask you to elaborate on my favorite part.
It could be the same though. It's her favorite.
Uh,
I mean,
You can't have the same favorite as me.
But see,
I
you
took
never said that though.
I apologize, but I already took Brotherhood, and you can't take that
I
one.
was just agreeing with you. But my favorite part about all of it is, I mean, really getting the relationships that we have with everyone and being able to actually experience, as a first time gamer, getting to experience all of this positivity. Po- you, yes, positivity.
Yeah, you're glad to experience the positivity.
Because a lot of people don't like female gamers. They they don't respect female. And I'm in a community where I am very well respected, and I appreciate that. My voice is heard when need be.
We'll bring your voice to vote and see how well it's heard.
I am heard. I have my voice and it is spoken and people hear me.
With all founders with uh 4 of the 6 founders here, the three between the 3 of us is Jess's voice heard. Say aye. Is Jess's
I hate
voice
all of
not
you.
is Jess's voice not heard? Say nay. Nay.
hey.
I hate all of you right now. I hate all of you.
All right, Jess's voice is not heard. We've come to that agreement.
So I mean, with me and stuff, I if you don't know, I help out with the creative side. I don't write the scripts or anything, but I do add in like some of the custom mods and that could be like vehicles, the MLOs. But the one thing I liked about it was that with me and Ace comes to me with a lot of different mods and stuff to add into it. So like just me and him working together, coming creating the creative side for the 5M server, it's been a blast. Like, there's a bond to that. So like it's one thing to just throw in a server and just start playing, but it's another to actually create your own and tailor it to your liking. So like you learn different things because, like Bronson said many times, is there's multiple founders in this. So it's not just one person I go to customize the server. There's a couple of people, and they all throw their ideas, and if need be, we'll throw it into like a voting, and we'll add it all together. But most times where we just come together like, hey, this sounds like a good idea, that sounds like a good idea, and we throw it together, we try it out, and it ends well. I mean, we never really have to vote on it because it's never a bad idea. And that's one thing that I do like about working with the creative side. You see a lot of people's ideas, and you get to see them all come together. Because so far, it's worked out and the fact that we have our own server is something that we have that is our server. Most of our liveries and stuff are custom designed. I help out with that as well, and we can honestly say that it's to our liking. Like it's nothing that we just found online. We're like, oh, this looks good. We'll throw this in. We have our custom vehicles. We have like our custom skins that go well with it. It's not like just one big pack that we threw in. So for me, working with the creative side, there's that bond with all of us that I've got to have and see that our community has the ability to grow with that and call it our own. That's one thing that I've liked about, working with the server.
That's probably been one of my biggest regrets. Because I took a different approach. With our server. Uh, I took a step back and left the creative side to other people and let other people decide of the creative things, and I'm still perfectly okay with that. Like I don't per se like regret it. I'm glad that I allowed other people to do that, uh, to take on that role for me and take that responsibility away from me, as like the main go-to person. Because all four or all three of you can vouch that like I'm normally the go-to person. Uh, and I have I have felt like I've been a little more inaccessible over the last month or so, uh, to certain people, to where people will come to me and I'm going to point you in a different direction. I'm going to lead you away from me. Uh, just because I'm dealing more with the business side of things, and I've created a partnership with the community, and you know SAFR has been a blessing to me. Uh, that so that's our parent server for anyone that doesn't know. I created that kind of I've created that kind of partnership, uh, and grew that relationship and continue to grow that relationship. And I'm very close with that owner of that community, and can never give enough thanks to them for allowing us the partnership that we have to allow us to be United Roleplay. Uh, and this podcast isn't sponsored by United Roleplay or SAFR. Uh, the Squadcast is a complete separate entity from both of those servers. Uh, but I do like to get everyone's input on how they feel about how things are going. So the last person we haven't heard from of like what has been their favorite part of being a founder is Polly.
I mean, obviously, I mean, just being able to, you know, not always have to see the person in person to, put your trust in them and that down that whole road. But I mean, you know, it's crazy where you can,
So
again, this
Polly
kind of goes.
Polly hasn't got to be a part of really the creative side either. Uh, I don't know if Polly's even interested in being in the creative side. Would you have
Well,
liked to? Would you have liked to have been in the creative side
I mean,
of things?
I don't think I would have done it solely like just like by itself. I probably would have, mixed it up a little bit. But I mean,
So
I'm a
if you were to choose a role, Polly, as because you're kind of the redheaded stepchild here.
Yeah, I think honestly, if I could choose, I would probably choose the same role because it's kind of like it's weird because sometimes it's like okay, you're with you roll with this group and then you roll with this group, but you're like right in the center of that. So you're like, oh, I kind of roll with both groups, where it's like,
because we are split currently. Like you've been involved in the business aspect with me. Uh, I would actually say you've been more involved in the business side with me than you have been the creative side. For sure, you've been in a lot of the meetings I've had, and have built. You've been in the same areas that I've been in with the building the relationship. Like without you as well, like we built the relationship with SAFR. It's not me solely. Uh, you were involved in many of those conversations. So
but yeah,
you
I
know,
mean, I think
you know,
I think just being able to meet
in a big way, you definitely helped me on the business side of things and creating that partnership and getting us where we're at now.
and again, like I think it's just crazy how like you don't necessarily ever have to see the person like in person talking to them, but I mean, you can still always digitally meet people, I guess.
I mean, that's
Uh,
pretty much how we started.
so I mean,
So all right, guys, before we end it, the last thing I'm going to say is we are having an event tomorrow night on SAFR at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. We're having war games. The link to SAFR is in the description below. Feel free to join. It'll bypass your whitelist for the time being. You can join the event, uh, and we hope to see you there. But with that being said, I'm the Delta BB.
El Poly here.
JDB.
The last leprechaun.
We'll see you guys in about